Hi everybody. Guru is supervising things. He's quite the cat. He's pretty chilled. Okay, I mentioned that it's time to separate the worms out of this bin and give them a new startup material. And I have some ready downstairs, but this is going to take a little while. So I'm going to set it up in here. And we're going to kind of do the light method, I guess. So we'll skim the top off of this because of course they're going to be down. And if we miss, there's a cocoon right there. If we miss the odd worm, I don't think it's a big deal. I started with 220-ish worms in here. And there, see? So you just skip it off till you start seeing worms. Hi, Gur. But we're going to do the light method of moving the worms out of here. So the cocoons and the babies, if there is any, I don't think there should be, not 3 weeks in. Probably shouldn't be any babies in here unless there happen to be a few eggs come in with them in the changeover. So, yep, keep taking off what we can before we, because I'm going to flip this whole thing in here, right? So there's their food. They're obviously going to be worms there. I see some tails as I'm getting down. Okay. So, yeah, just take off what you can because now we're starting to see worms here. And I know this isn't I'm not into big production yet. This is not a big breeder bin, but it's the right size for 220, 250 worms. Okay, you want to see some worm activity? Here we go. This is where their food is, right? So remember, I always say you want them to get to that zone where they're in the breeding zone and they can get together and they can mingle and it's like a big singles bar and they just have lots of fun and they're doing their thing and yeah, that's what we have in this. So we're gonna dump this out over here. Now in all of the material, so we're just gonna empty it out, put it there. We got a pretty bright light in here. I've got one of those work lights. It's like an LED work light for your light socket, and it's got 4 panels and actually a center button that shines down, so I can actually go boop and I can concentrate the light down here, and it's pretty much right directly above. So these guys are all going to go down into the pile, right? So we're just going to let them do that. And see, we start doing now, we're going to get worms, right? Because they're going to come with stuff. But I'm going to set this up for, I'm going to do a pause and a stop and a restart, because with my, with my editing app, it's easier to just do a time-lapse on a single video than it is to cut it out. You can do it, but it's a lot more work. There is baby worm. And I seen another one in here just a second ago, and then I moved them. There's a baby worm. So we do have some baby worms in here. Not a big deal. That's I'm all for just letting them do their thing. So we're just going to let them do their thing. But they are very, 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 very small. I'm not sure you can see if it's coming through on this. Right there. Right there. Like they're just barely out of the cocoon. So we have some baby worms here. We're going to leave them in there. That's okay, because the breeders are going to go back in there, right? So you see, you want this to get spread out. The farther it's spread out, the more surface area you have for the light to hit, the deeper they go. I mean, it's fairly obvious that there's a bunch here. We could just grab them, put them over here. But there's worms all over. Okay. We're just going to take that and put it. There's a ball of worms. We'll hit the easy button on that one. We're gonna take out the big wads and the food. The food can go back into the breeder bin. Oh, there's a big wad. Look at that, guys. Like that's a lot of fun. I like worms. I like them when they're doing that because you know they're busy and you know they're doing what you want them to do. And there's a lot of worms in there. And there's smaller ones in there. So we've got some worms that came over. But you know, as we keep this a breeder bin, those worms will get bigger. They'll start producing and they'll even up. This is the first batch coming out of the new breeder bin because we had a wreck with the old one and I killed all my old breeder bin worms by leaving the lid on too tight. Okay, gonna set you up for the time lapse, so I'll stop it, start it again. I'll do a time lapse on that. I'm gonna let it go for about 15 minutes. Let them worms dive. And then we're going to come back and scrape some off. And, well, you'll see. Anyway. Okay, so time lapse over. Nix is giving me heck. She loves doing that. I've seen a fair few cocoons, and there is baby worms in here. That's a baby worm. That's okay, because they're going to stay in this bin. And this bedding's going to go out here, and everybody's going to be happy. So we've taken them down with the light method, and I hope it makes sense. It took me, I don't know, 20 minutes. And yes, when I did have a worm in my hand, I put it in the other bin. I'm not going to sit and wait all day. So we're going to just roll these guys into our hand. And we actually got all of them. So that's a good little ball of worms. That's what happens when you do the light method. They just keep going in and in and in and in and in. Oh, come on. So we're going to put them in there. And So if you want to get your worms off of the plastic, like there's a worm right there, don't use your hands. Use this bedding and just snuggle them into the pile because they're little and they're not going to really find the spot where they're supposed to be right off the hop, because you know their world just got completely rolled over, right? So I'm going to turn this way so I can use my little squirt gun. Give everything a good mixing, good moisture. I mean, it's wet in there and it's nice consistency, but a brooder bin you want wet. And that's good there. Let me, you know what? I need more paper. Let me pause. Okay. I got some bedding. I'm going to give them a little extra bedding. And of course, anybody that's been following me, this is my stuff I mixed up a couple of weeks ago. It's got lots of coffee, shredded paper, eggshell, and I activated up with some molasses water. So we're just gonna, that's good. Now we're gonna cover this with paper. Paper helps keep your moisture in, and it's really neat to put it in your brooder bins because paper is where, when you get your little worms hatching, you're going to see them first in the paper because they seem to really enjoy coming up into the paper, between the paper and the plastic, moisture, and seems to be that's where they congregate. So this is a new piece of plastic that I got, bubble wrap that came in Amazon, and I thought, hey, that's pretty cool. And it gets a pretty good, I mean, there's air spaces along the edge, but it holds in there nice. And I mean, as the bin gets fuller, it's going to come up and it's going to, you know, be looser. But you want it down tight for now. And it seems to get a pretty good hold on the moisture, I think. So we're going to try that one. It didn't cost me anything. Came in I ordered a compost thermometer, so they needed something stiff so that it didn't bend, and that's what came in. Kind of cool. All right, and then we've got our little sign. It's not an ENC brooder bin. I made a mistake and told Colleen to make an ENC brooder bin label. It's just a brooder bin. It's a red wiggler brooder bin. We will cut it off. Now it's a brooder bin. And it's starting December 22nd, 2023. So we've had some wicked awesome weather here in southern Saskatchewan, and I think it's been in most parts of the northern U.S. Like we haven't had a lot of what we call winter. We're December 22nd, and we have not had too many cold days. Kind of nice. Okay, that guy's done. I'm just going to set him over here. And now, these guys have food. We're not giving them any. And they need more bedding because we took all theirs. So, I'm going to give them this stuff. So I fill it up about half full. You don't need to, you don't need a big area for a breeder bin. You need them to get together. So the smaller the area with the right amount of worms is better than a great big area with not enough worms. So that being said, I'm just checking this paper because, like what I was saying before, is the little worms come up into the paper, and there was little worms in that bedding when I took it out. I know there was, but I don't seem to see too many, and I'm not gonna panic about it. I'm not even gonna worry about it because it doesn't matter. I was just looking. All right, there. And I'm not giving them food this week. They've got food in there that they went with, and I'm not giving them food. I'll check them again next week, and we'll go from there. And you don't have to feed them right away. They got lots of stuff to explore, and they're in a new bin, so they're not even gonna. They're going to explore, and they're going to do their thing. Anyway, like, share, comment, subscribe. If you enjoy our content and want to get notifications, hit the notification button, the bell. Everybody have a really Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. I hope the 2024 is awesome for everyone. Talk to you again. Have a great day.